Christine.
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to make a comment as a citizen on the floor. Mayor and members of the audience, as a citizen, I am proud of the work that the city is doing, the council is doing, and our citizens, they have stepped up. I know that they appreciate what the council is doing for this city. And as Councilman Quad says, I'd like to say as well that we have staff to go above and beyond. And Public Works Department, even though they are doing work for the city, keeping our city looking good and all of that, they have also doubled as event staff support. And I'd like to say thank you to them for being there. And we appreciate that. But my comment as a citizen is, I'd like to say that I am a very proud American. And I love this country. And I am honored to be a citizen of this great city of Morrow. And also, I would like to make a comment on a motion that an elected official, Councilwoman Tran, made a few weeks ago. And that motion was to try and get a change on the voting ballot, which was to include the Vietnamese language. And with an afterthought, she included Spanish in that motion. That motion failed. On the July 2nd, at the International Night Market event that the city held, Councilwoman Tran, along with several others, were at that event displaying a flyer. That flyer was in only one language, and that was Vietnamese. The only individuals that could read that flyer were Vietnamese. So they continued to engage and solicit signatures for that petition of getting a vote on the ballot to include Vietnamese. This Councilwoman Tran was disturbing to me because you, as an immigrant American, you took an oath of citizenship that was read and given to you in English. That language you swore an allegiance to becoming an American citizen. You also took an oath to be an elected official right here in this chamber. You swore and took an oath of allegiance to America in English. As a citizen, as an elected official, you should be encouraging citizens to learn to speak, read and write the language in which they are citizens of this country. But instead, you wanted to get a petition signed to include another country's language on the American voting ballot. I'd like to let you know that that offended me highly. As a woman of color who's lived in this country for 72 years, who has had to march, stand in lines and protest to get the right to vote. And I do it in honor of people who did not have the opportunity or the right to vote. And I'd like you to know that I feel, as a citizen of this city and as a fellow council member, that you do not deserve to sit on that dais as an elected official. You have failed in your oath of office. You have failed as a citizen of this country. You disregarded and you dishonored those oaths that you took as an American citizen. I would like to say that is un-American and inexcusable. Shame on you, Van Train. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Mayor,
Okay.
that's the healthy cause, and it's come directly to me, and I would like to have a few moments.
Couple things. The first one, we had a phenomenal series of events, and we certainly could not have pulled it off without the support of our citizens, our guests, which came out to have a phenomenal time. Anyone who enjoys artists, regardless of whether it's rock and roll to just about anything, the cultural dancers from India were phenomenal. The weather was hot. I got to give it that. But it didn't rain until like later, then it wasn't tremendously turbulent. So the city performed well, and that's what this is all about. So we appreciate that, and all of those who took part in it. There's a lot of work, and we're getting better. Each time we do this, and as your peers are now starting to recognize you, is you've got some pretty cool stuff going on. There's a number of other things that are capital improvement type programs. If you haven't had a chance to see, they started putting up the chain link fence around the Sears today. Most of that's going to be some internal stuff that's going to get taken out before they start to demo part of that building. So there you have your $100 million development, and you have an 8,000 seat arena. So by the time 24 months passes, some of the same things you saw this weekend will be happening on a regular basis in just good old-fashioned Martin, Georgia. So that is by itself phenomenal. And then remember, this thing opens debt-free. The school system doesn't owe anything on it. A lot of places like the GCIC, they've got a lot of bond indebtedness to it. You don't have that. So that's going to work for us. And there'll be all kinds of acts that will come out there and play. So hats off to the superintendent of schools, the school board themselves, the county commissioners, and everybody that made that happen. The proclamation was a little bit of a surprise to me. That was a good fun. Sometimes you have to go in and you try to hold it together. The award is sweet, but the people that were behind it were really the heroes there. And sometimes when you come in, you have to know that this isn't an easy job. And most of the people that are involved with some of these things from the legal aid, they fight this battle uphill both ways, and they rarely win. So to be able to not only have an elderly couple receive their property back, but to have it donated to them free and clear. Right? There is no debt on this property. But our job isn't done. One of the things that you looked at while we were reaching this conclusion is how do we help senior citizens? Not just in statement, but in fact. And invariably, when you talk about, say Joe, somebody brings up somebody else in the city who has not necessarily the same need, but there is a need. And you go, well, that was a little bit more challenging, or you say a little bit more challenging, it's different. Maybe that person really is not going to appreciate your help. They need your help, but they have, post-traumatic stress disorder or a number of other things tragically have happened in their life, but they need the help just the same. So you're seeing a series of actions that are starting to take place behind the scenes to reconstitute some of the things that the city always had the ability to do, but to put them back in place, to put the right people in the programs with the support of your city council and members of people in this audience, to go and find those others, right? And we know there's going to be a handful. We know there will probably be more needs than there are opportunities for us to be able to solve them. We can't solve everything. But we've at least identified 3 other issues that I think it would be fair to say anybody sitting in this room would say, yeah, that's not going on. And what are we going to do about it? You know, so some things are sometimes brought to you, not necessarily what you see, but what is the entirety of it. And then what happens in the long term, right? What are we going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do the next thing? And we're going to rely on not only the members of this council, but a lot of the folks in this audience and a number of people that aren't here. You know, as a community, just let them know we're coming. And we should, right? These are the absolute facts. So on one hand, we have to have a great appreciation for those that stepped up and did the right thing, right? Not because you had to, but because it was the right thing. And there's a couple others, and there's people in this room who know they are. We're going to finish what we started. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm going to end this council meeting because there's very little reason for us to continue this debate. Meeting adjourned.
Ms. Dorothy, I will respond to your comment in the email and give you the reference of why we're saying that. Because you could disregard Section 203 Voting Rights Act.